How did you think the offensive line improved from week 1 to week 2, and how much did that help you guys have some of the success you had?
Yeah, I thought there was a huge improvement, especially with the challenge that we had. I mean, Baltimore has a great D-line too, but Cleveland statistically the year before and in the first game, and then not even just statistically, just looking at their edges. I mean, their problems. Playing Clowney all the years that we had to when we were in San Francisco. It takes one play for him to wreck a game, and he basically did on one of the few times we didn't chip him. And then you obviously got Miles, who I got so much respect for. So they had a big challenge in front of them, especially coming off the week. I know they weren't obviously happy with the way they performed. I wasn't happy with the plan I had for them. But they came out, and you could tell on Wednesday when we started in practice that they wanted to get it right. And I thought our three inside really anchored down for us, which they needed to. We're going to put Lake and AVT and Connor on islands at times. We have to. And they're talented enough to get that done, and they have the right mindset to get that done. We're going to help our tackles as much as possible, not because we need to, but because that's what you do in this league against the great pass rushers, So I thought not only did the 5-line answer the bell, the guys that were helping our tackles, our tight ends and backs, I thought did a great job, whether it be in the run game pressing or obviously in the pass game with the chips.
What's the next step for Garrett? What's the next thing you want to see out of him?
Just showing up to work every single day and getting better. I mean, I'll never put numbers or stats or any of that stuff on a guy. That's not realistic, because a lot of times that's out of the guy's control. But the cool part about him is no matter what happens, whether he has a one catch day, which I find that'd be probably rare, or the day he had the other day, he's going to show up every single Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, put in his best work, be prepared as much as possible to go out and do what he can do on Sundays.
Well, one thing he said was that he doesn't even like watching the plays that go well for him. He likes to focus on where he made mistakes or things he could do better. I mean, that's probably a positive thing to.
Yeah, it's awesome. But I think for anyone in any profession, right? What keeps you up at night in my world is what are the 3 to 10 to 30 play calls that weren't good enough? You're not even thinking about the play calls that were good enough. How can I fix the stuff that didn't go well, even if it was a good day? So for him to have that mindset as a rookie, it shows you a lot about who he is.
Did he get so many targets because you were dialing him up for him, or was it just the way Cleveland was covering that he kept taking?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a combination of that. I mean, again, you try to put each player in a position to be successful based on their skill set, and sometimes that's not difficult, but you got a lot of guys that can do a lot of things within this group, and we're trying to figure out who we are and how this is going to mix and match every single week. With again giving people. Opportunities and keeping a defense off balance, so you're not just one-dimensional in any facet of the game. The game kind of went his way in certain aspects. He wasn't always number one in the progression. Sometimes one was gone, and he was number two. And Joe was finding them. And again, it goes back to the first question of our line giving Joe enough time to get to number two in the progression, and Garrett being where he needed to be within the timing of the play.
With the running back rotation, obviously we've seen a lot of Mike to start the year. I think a little bit against Baltimore, but especially against Cleveland, you saw little glimmers of what Brees is capable of. Is he somebody that you want to get a little bit more involved now over the next couple?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question, because I do want to get him more involved, because I think we do see, for lack of a better term, the home run potential. But I also want to get Michael Carter the carries too, because of what he can do for our offense and how he doesn't usually go down on first contact. And then you got those receivers that you want to get the ball to in the tight end. So, yeah, I mean, I do want to get him involved, but we got to do, again, what is necessary to go out and win games and move the football. And if that's what it means, getting him more touches, then absolutely that's what we're going to do.
Is there anyone you can, or any place you've been at throughout your career where you maybe can talk to, I don't know if it's your brother or even Kyle, where it's like you have, which has been a little rare around here, is like this many weapons and you want to get them all to touch, like sometimes it's going to be this guy's. Like, is there anyone you can talk to about how you manage that, or is it just?
Well, I had to do that in both 2016 and 2019 when we were in Atlanta. You know, and then obviously 2019 in San Francisco when you had guys like Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, the running backs and the run game that we had on top of one of the top defenses. So you wanted to play complementary football. Kendrick Bourne had a great year for us in 19. He was our leading target on third downs. We trade for Emmanuel Sander. He had to get his touches. It organically works itself out. 2016, obviously, we had Julio Jones, but you had Mohamed Sanu, who was one of the top third down players in football that year. You had Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman, who were fantastic. Taylor Gabriel, I think, went for 700 yards that year. Austin Hooper contributed as a rookie as the season went on. So I think the difference between what I just said between 19, 16, and what we have is we're really young compared to those two squads. And so it's a little bit different for our guys in terms of there's not 90 plays like there is in college football. We're not going to throw the ball 40 straight times, albeit we did versus Baltimore in the fourth quarter, much noted. My fault. You know, so it's just, again, every guy getting a little bit used to that. It might get a little quieter at times for certain guys. Keep plugging away, keep doing your job, keep doing your responsibility. The ball will find you when you're giving it everything you got.
Just to piggyback off the Connor's question, just, you know, you're averaging nearly about 5 yards a carry per rush right now. Is it just, you know, getting those guys more touches? Is it going to come down to just having a lead more later on in the game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, a lot of our passes, we were fairly balanced. Don't ask me for the numbers right now, but we were fairly balanced if you took away the 2-minute situations. I'm going to say it was probably 55% pass, 45% run. Some days it's going to be flip from that. I know what's going to happen when we are running the ball and giving it. It's now Garrett and Elijah and all them aren't getting enough touches, you know, and it's going to be a constant cool little battle, you know. But again, it's my responsibility to do what I think is best, for this team to win football games and the offense have success and score points. And every week is, again, going to be a little bit different.
What does Elijah have to do to get more touches?
It goes. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but just keep doing what he's doing. He ran a lot of really good routes. He was number one in the progression in so many of our first half plays, and really in the second half. But going through the first half, I mean, he was 1 or 2 in the progression almost every single snap. And he had a few catches with it. Sometimes one was covered, and anytime one's covered, I don't feel like I called a great play. Sometimes you kind of know one's going to get covered, so number 2 is a 1B in the quarterback's head. So again, just like I'm going to tell all these guys, just keep plugging away, keep blocking in the run game. The better you block, the better a run game's going to be. The more they're going to put pressure to stop the run, which is going to open up your lanes in the pass game. The ball will find you. Just keep on working.
When you look down at the stats and see that you're leading the league in pass attempts as a play caller, what's your reaction?
I don't like it. The fourth quarter, obviously, of Baltimore skewed this thing. We're 2 weeks in, so I didn't know that. I mean, it's obviously not shocking, but not something that we want to be, obviously.
Mike, I'm sorry if you asked this, but obviously the win was the biggest thing for everybody, but how happy were you for somebody like Joe? I mean, it looked like everybody was pretty pumped up after the game. He's taking a lot of heat, right or wrong. How happy were you?
I was not just Joe. I was happy for the whole offense as a group. I was happy for this team. I was happy for this organization. But most importantly, these players. These guys. They're a good group. I know everyone kind of says that about their guys, but they are. I enjoy. As bad as say last Monday and Tuesday are, coming in, getting prepared, because that's what you got to do to get ready for week 2. Because every opponent in this league is good. What gets you really going is seeing them back on Wednesday and getting back on the grass with them and getting in the meetings, and then you're just on to the next week and the amount of work that it takes to put yourself in a position to win on Sunday. By no means was it even close to perfect. We know that. We know how the last part of the game unfolded. What was cool about it is we were close enough where if they gave us a chance, we all saw what happened. There was so much to fix. We're not even scratching the surface, in my opinion, both from an operations standpoint and just execution standpoint. But guys made a lot of plays. To answer your question again, I mean, I was really happy for Joe. I don't think he listens to the outside noise. I don't think he really cares. He's been in this league long enough. You're going to get too much credit when you win football games. You're going to get crushed when you don't win football games. That's the nature of playing quarterback, and that's what's so cool about this league.
Talked about giving up
sorry, one of the players that we talked a lot to you about, and you guys spoke pretty highly of throughout the summer, was Conklin. He hasn't really gotten it going so far. I mean, there were some struggles in the first game and some, not too much action in the second. I mean, what do you think needs to happen for him to kind of jump?
Yeah, I mean, he did have 6 catches this last game, a lot of them being checkdowns and stuff like that, but that's sometimes how, when you're playing zone coverage with tight ends and you're helping the D end, or you're helping your tackles with the chips and stuff, they're not going to get as many opportunities running down the field. I mean, first and foremost, the priority was making sure that Clowney and Myles Garrett did not wreck the game for us, because that's what they did so much the year before. I mean, they were a top 5 defense the year before for a reason. They were number 2 on first and second down. We had to protect, not just with 5 guys up front, not just with our back, but with our tight end. So there's going to be games, where they're going to get some more opportunities. Again, Conklin's, you don't have to say anything to Conklin. That guy just wants to win. He's going to show up every single day. He's I know I've only been with him for a short time, but he's one of my favorite guys I've ever coached already, because it's just head down, do whatever's asked, does not really care. He's going to do extra. He just wants to win football games.
You talked about divvying up carries. I'm curious, I mean, in Carter's case, does what he did against this team a year ago, does that play into that, or is that so far in the rear?
No, I mean, with the backs, I mean, it's I don't want to say the number 1 rush team in 2019, but I couldn't even tell you who led our team in rushing that year. It was who had the hot hand. You can feel it. And you know what? I think there's going to be times that both those guys are going to have the hot hand, but sometimes Steph Curry has more of a hot hand than Clay, and vice versa, and that's you can feel it when you're calling plays. You can almost feel it in pregame. I could feel Michael Carter in pregame. I'm not even going to get into it, but I told him that. Like, you can just feel it. That's a big responsibility for Taylor Embry as the running back coach in the rotation. I'm not asking for a back, in the run game very often. He's just got to feel it, keep the guys fresh to get to the fourth quarter. And when a guy's got a hot hand, he's going to keep him in there. The cool part about that group, even being a young group, they understand that. They know they can feel it too. And, again, just like I keep saying, they want to win.
So you're saying you got Steph and Clay in the backfield?
I'm not saying I'm using the comparison for the hot hand, and it's good, I'm sure. But it's but the truth, I mean, it is that. I mean, they're when you watch Golden State and the guys, hitting 3-4 threes in a row, they just keep feeding them the ball, and that's how we've always felt. As going back to 2014 when I first got with Kyle Shanahan, it was who's got the hot hand. You keep feeding it to them in the run game.
What are some of the bigger challenges that Cincinnati presents?
They're similar to Buffalo in terms of they've been in a system for now 4 years. And they have a lot of veterans. They've played a lot of football, and not only have they played a lot of football, they played a lot of football with each other. So they have this huge menu of defense when you look back to all last year, how they played us, how they played, in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl, these first 2 weeks. The menu is extensive. You don't really know what you're going to get, which means you got to go play solid fundamental football from an offensive standpoint. What I think is a sign of a good defense, not just talent-wise, but a well-coached defense, is you have that menu and you don't see, if any, bust on the field. So the players know what they're doing. They know where they need to be when they need to be there. So that's that's the challenge. Not only do they have a good scheme, not only do they have good players, they've played with each other for so long, and it is such an undervalued deal in this league when you have the time to actually build this thing the right way, and that's what they've done there in Cincinnati.
So you don't expect them to leave Corey Davis completely wide open down the sideline?
I hope they do, but it's
I was going to kind of ask about that. What was your reaction when you saw him that open, and what was your mindset going into the last drive?
I think Saleh said, the reaction was, wow, we got a guy, really wide open. You didn't really know why at the time. You're down 13, so it's past getting completions. I mean, the quarterback mindset is chunks. We got to score. We got to score very fast. So you're just rolling dice, calling plays there. And luckily we've had 75 attempts at that play throughout all the walkthroughs and stuff like that. So the guys went out and executed, and you know, kudos to our guys. The mindset in the last drive, and I think Sal has referred to it, like we had a lot of time and we didn't have a lot of field to go down, you know. So I thought Joe just did a tremendous job, no matter what I was calling, not forcing it right there, getting the checkdowns. The play on the second play of the drive was so big for Michael Carter to catch that check down when you're outside the numbers. Every team and every level of football is get out of bounds as fast as humanly possible. He went, he felt you know, the defender kind of overshooting it a little bit. He went back inside and got us the first down, because when you're in a 2-minute situation, if it's 3rd and 2, you really have no idea what the defense is going to do. Are they going to call a 2-minute defense, or are they going to call a 3rd down defense? You don't know. But when it's first down, all of a sudden now the whole playbook's open again in terms of our 2-minute playbook. So just little things that our guys did to execute in that situation, starting with Joe, but all 11, I thought they did a tremendous job.
Mike, where is Jeremy Rucker in his development? I know he had a drop, he might have whipped on a block or two. Where is he?
He's going to be a very good player. He loves ball. You know, it's unfortunate for anybody, but rookies in general, when you miss OTAs and you miss, you know, summer training camp. So not being able to go through the huddle for 11 practices in April and May and June, and then not being in the huddle to hear the play calls, and not only that, now you have to actually go play against professional players every single day. You know, it was a struggle getting him to the point where he was able to go and play at the level that he wanted to in preseason. He's going to be a very good player. He wants it too much. He's too good of a guy. He's too hard of a worker. He'll improve tremendously going in this next week, and there's still going to be things he's going to have to fix, and then it's just going to continue to build. I'm excited. The future is really bright for him.
Thank you, everyone.